You know, I got to get my little table set up here. You never know what's going to happen, do you? You like my little guy there? Yeah. My wife says it reminds her of Mickey Mouse. Anybody see that when Mickey Mouse is holding on to the clock? But you know, when I saw that picture, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of time, but it reminded me of somebody trying to stop time. He's holding on to it because, you know, for some reason we have this thing that we always go, when it's 12 o'clock, you know, when the pumpkin changes, and all these things happen. So we're doing everything we can to hold back time. But you know what? Time is something you can't hold back on. You know, there's a lot of things in this planet that you can do. You know, you ever heard this before? Anybody heard? Time is money. Anybody heard that from a boss? Time is money. Time is money. You don't remember when I was just a little whippersnapper. Time is, but you know, time is not money. You know why time's not money? Because money you can make. It might be hard, but you can make money. But you know what you can't make any more of? You can't make time. You can't make time no matter what you do. It's impossible. Anybody heard of A.W. Tozer? Ever heard of him? Here's one of his little quotes that he has. Let me read it to you. Time is more valuable than money. It says time is a resource. Now, why is time a resource? What is a resource? Resource is something that is gas a resource? Electricity, all those things. The problem with the resource is that there's an end to it, isn't there? There isn't a resource that just goes, it wouldn't be a resource if it just went on forever. How about this? No, there's a beginning, there's an end. So it's a resource. He says time is a resource that's non-renewable, non-transferable. You can't store it, you can't slow it up, you can't hold it up, you can't divide it up, you can't give it up, you can't hoard it up, you can't save it for a rainy day. It's non-recoverable. When you kill time, it's not resurrectable. Now, for the last 30 seconds or 2 minutes that I've been talking, guess what? You can't get that back. It's gone. It is now history. When I talked about Mickey Mouse 3 minutes ago, that is now history. And the worst part about it is you can't get it back. So when we start worrying about money and all the other resources that we're concerned about, you better be concerned about time. Do you know that in Scriptures, 800, and it's neat what computers do, don't they? Somebody spent a lot of time to program. So when I was doing my Bible study and I typed in time, because I wanted to read the verses that were based on time. Because all of this has to do with what? When Pastor started a few weeks ago about budgeting your money, your time, your family. 889 times does the word time come up in Scripture. And I'm going to tell you what's scary about that. When you start reading 889 verses, you realize how many of them apply to you. And you also realize how many people were at a time. That's the scary thing. When you're reading the Scripture and God is prophesying what's going to happen, guess what? Your number is up. Your time is gone. The question is, what are you going to do with your time, Dennis? It's a good Scripture, isn't it? Because I love this Scripture because it kind of eliminates all your excuses, all mine of excuses. Let me read through this. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity. Now what does every not cover? Just let me know. Every activity. The question is what you do with your time. And this is where it begins with every one of us. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant, a time to harvest. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to rebuild. A time to cry and a time to laugh. For some of you that don't believe that, there is a time to laugh. There is a time to have a good time. It ain't always got to be like this. That ain't the only thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a time to tear down, a time to build up, he said. A time to grieve and a time to... In the church. can't sing, I can't dance, but I try both. You know what? It makes you laugh.
Yes, it does.
Yes. There's a time to scatter stones and a time to gather. Maybe when I'm dancing and singing, there's a time to throw and scatter. A time to embrace and a time to turn away. You know, there are times in your life where you do need to give somebody a hug, but there's times it's hard, but you got to turn your back. Enough is enough. I can't feed that anymore. I can't be responsible every time and forgive you every time. You got to start being responsible for yourself. And guess what? You're running out of time. A time to search, a time to quit searching. Now this next one I love, and I think this is for, I'm from St. Mary's, so I can say this. And it says, there is a time to keep and a time to throw away. That's why God made yard sales. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you. And you know what? If you don't want to throw it in the trash, have a yard sale. Here's what I don't understand. I don't understand why people in general, and maybe this isn't you because you're the, but I don't understand why you don't want someone